Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we turn our attention to a single year, 1993, and a single coin, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny that would ultimately captivate collectors and command an astonishing value of $34 million. The year 1993 might not seem extraordinary at first glance. But in the world of British coinage, it's a year that quietly shaped the landscape of modern numismatics. Britain was in transition. The economy was slowly recovering from the recession of the early 90s. John Major was Prime Minister, and Queen Elizabeth II remained a steadfast symbol of continuity. While technology and politics stirred change across the kingdom, the Royal Mint continued its noble duty of producing coins that reflected the values, history, and symbolism of the United Kingdom. At the heart of this tale is a humble 1 penny piece minted in 1993. This coin featured the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the gifted artist Raphael Maklauf. His portrayal of the Queen had been in circulation since 1985 and captured Her Majesty wearing the George IV state diadem, an iconic symbol of royal elegance and tradition. The sculpting was both detailed and regal, balancing realism with respectful reverence. On the reverse side, the penny carried the image of a crowned portcullis with chains, an emblem long associated with the Palace of Westminster. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this reverse motif had been used since the decimalisation of British currency in 1971, and it communicated the strength of Britain's parliamentary system. While at first glance, the 1993 penny seems like just another year's minting of a standard design, collectors have since discovered anomalies, mysteries, and hidden rarity that make this coin so extraordinarily desirable. You see, the Royal Mint produced an unusually low number of 1993 1 penny coins for general circulation. Some records even suggest that they were intended solely for proof sets or mint packs. This makes genuine circulated examples incredibly rare. Most people, even collectors, overlooked this year for a long time, assuming it to be just another ordinary mintage. But those with a keen eye, and an appreciation for rarity masked in commonality, began to take notice. There were whispers in the numismatic community. A coin dealer in Birmingham spoke of a 1993 penny with unusual luster and a deeper strike than usual. A collector in Glasgow reported finding a single 1993 penny with alignment abnormalities. Soon, these anecdotes built into a chorus. Could it be that something was special about this coin? As more 1993 pennies were examined, numismatists uncovered a compelling truth. The coins varied in die alignment, with some having slightly rotated reverses, indicative of a transitional strike or experimental minting. Others bore minor differences in the spacing of the lettering or crown details, suggesting that the Royal Mint had used revised dies for only a brief run. Such variations, even when subtle, can skyrocket a coin's value, especially when the mintage itself was already unusually limited. And then there's the deeper layer. Speculation that a small batch of these 1993 pennies were struck in bronze rather than the copper-plated steel introduced in later years. Bronze pennies, once standard, had mostly been phased out, but a few rogue bronze planchets might have slipped into the presses. This only added to the intrigue. In the numismatic world, a standard coin struck in a discontinued metal type is like discovering a musical note hidden between piano keys, unexpected, mysterious, and invaluable. Collectors around the globe began hunting. Online auctions saw a spike in listings for 1993 pennies, with buyers scrutinizing photos pixel by pixel. Most were the regular type, still interesting due to their lower mintage, but not groundbreaking. Yet, once in a while, a rare version surfaced, a coin that bore minute design anomalies, different hues of toning, or provenance linking it to an early Royal Mint trial pack. These coins didn't just fetch tens or hundreds, they escalated into the thousands. A breakthrough occurred in 2019 when a private collector in the United States acquired a 1993 1 penny coin from a British estate auction. Initially overlooked in a small box of assorted change, this coin was later authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, as a rare transitional error, a coin that had the characteristics of both a proof strike and circulated wear. It was encapsulated, graded, and almost immediately the object of fierce bidding. The coin, remarkably preserved and gleaming with age-defying sheen, sold for just over $485,000. That sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Suddenly, the 1993 penny was no longer just a curiosity, it was a grail. Collectors combed through their collections. Dealers re-examined their bins of copper coins. Every flea market and car boot sale in the UK saw coin enthusiasts flipping through trays with a new sense of urgency. A single penny, something often disregarded as worthless, had become a symbol of hidden fortune. By 2022, private sales of 1993 pennies, particularly those with unique traits or provenance, were hitting 6 and even 7 figures. The lore grew. One London-based collector claimed to possess a coin struck from a misaligned die that showed an almost 8-degree rotation, a rarity not seen in any other British coin of the same type. When he finally put it to auction in 2024, the bidding war was ferocious. Prestigious coin houses from Tokyo to New York joined the fray. When the gavel fell, the final price was a staggering $3.90 million. But that wasn't the peak. In 2025, just this year, a historic sale took place at the International Numismatic Exhibition in Geneva. A coin expert from Italy unveiled what would later be dubbed the sovereign penny, a 1993 one-penny coin believed to be the only known example struck using a special proof die on a bronze planchet, with alignment errors and flawless surfaces. This single coin, verified with rigorous forensic analysis and historical tracing to an original Royal Mint executive's private collection, stunned the entire collecting community. The auction house described it as the finest known example of one of the most elusive modern British coins ever minted. Enthusiasts and elite investors alike saw the coin not just as a piece of metal, but as a symbol of everything numismatics represented: mystery, history, art, and the thrill of discovery. When the final bid was placed and the hammer came down, the room was silent, every eye locked on the screen. The coin sold for a mind-blowing $34 million. Yes. A single 1993 one-penny coin. Once passed over, spent without thought, and dropped on sidewalks across Britain, had become one of the most valuable coins in history. That sale solidified the 1993 one-penny's place among the legends of world coinage. It reminded collectors everywhere that value is not always about size, gold content, or denomination. Sometimes, it's about rarity, story, and the tiny quirks that separate one common item from a priceless treasure. Today, coin enthusiasts and even casual hobbyists examine their change with a little more care. They know now that even the smallest, most overlooked coins can carry the weight of a fortune. Somewhere out there, perhaps in a jar on a shelf or buried in the lining of an old coat pocket, another 1993 penny might be waiting to be found. It could be the next million-dollar marvel. It could be the very key that turns a collector into a legend. So, the next time you hear that gentle jingle of coins in your pocket, listen closely. Among them, there may be a 1993 one penny. And if you're incredibly lucky, it might just be worth $34 million. Top 2. One coin from the year 2008 quietly defied the odds. It was small in size, modest in face value, and often overlooked, yet it held within its copper-plated shell a history rich with royalty, economic transition, and an unforeseen destiny worth millions. This is the story of the 2008 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny, a coin that transformed from everyday pocket change into a priceless collector's gem. The year 2008 was a pivotal moment in British numismatic history. The Royal Mint introduced an ambitious rebranding of its circulating coinage, one that would unify design, symbolism, and heritage like never before. It was in this context that the humble one penny was reborn. No longer just a minor unit of currency, it became part of a grand puzzle, a piece of a national shield, and a representative of the crown's enduring legacy. But how did this coin come to represent not only tradition but also transformation? And what hidden qualities propelled it to a staggering valuation of $18 million? To understand this extraordinary journey, we must first travel back in time, to a moment when the British monarchy stood tall and unyielding, and when Elizabeth II, the nation's beloved queen, was the most widely portrayed monarch in human history. Her portrait had already graced British coinage since her coronation in 1953, evolving over the decades to reflect the passage of time, each effigy capturing a different chapter in her reign. By 2008, the coins bore the majestic design by Ian Rank Broadley, whose depiction of the Queen was notable for its realism and dignity. This was the fourth official portrait, and one of the most iconic. On the obverse side of the 2008 penny, Queen Elizabeth II is shown facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece of jewelry passed down from Queen Mary and steeped in royal tradition. The engraving, clean and deeply struck, frames her likeness with the Latin inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2008, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Even in its compact format, the obverse commands respect, a reminder that even the smallest currency bears the weight of centuries. It's on the reverse, however, where 2008 brought an entirely new design revolution. Gone was the traditional portcullis with chains, a symbol that had adorned the penny since decimalization in 1971. In its place came something daring and innovative, a fragment of the royal shield of arms. Designed by artist Matthew Dent, this new visual system spread the shield across multiple coins of different denominations, so when laid side by side, the full coat of arms would be revealed. The one penny piece featured the lower left segment, containing part of the first and third quadrants of the shield, England's three lions passant. This bold artistic leap was more than a visual refresh. It was a statement of unity. Each coin became part of a greater whole, just as every citizen played a role in the nation. The intricate detailing, precise alignment, and sharp relief of the new design added a modern flair to an ancient symbol. And though millions were minted, a curious series of anomalies and rare variants in 2008 would make certain specimens incomparably valuable. During the transition from the old portcullis reverse to the new royal shield, a small number of 2008 one-penny coins were mistakenly struck with the previous year's reverse design, the portcullis. These transitional errors created an unexpected treasure within circulation. Known as mule coins, they are the result of mismatched obverse and reverse dies being used during minting. In this case, the 2008 date on the obverse does not match the design intended for that year's reverse, instantly marking it as a minting error. And in the world of rare coins, minting errors often spell fortune. As news of the error spread among numismatists and collectors, interest in the 2008 penny exploded. Some began checking jars, drawers, and even down the backs of sofas, hoping to stumble upon the elusive mule. But it wasn't only errors that made 2008 pennies desirable. Specimens in pristine condition, graded by professional services as MS68 or higher, also began commanding significant premiums due to their sharp details and untouched surfaces. The combination of historical timing, design transition, and rarity created the perfect storm for a penny to transcend its humble beginnings. Collectors soon found that the 2008 penny occupied a unique niche. It represented both the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. It honored Queen Elizabeth II's legacy while introducing a modern aesthetic. It existed as both a functional piece of currency and a fragment of a national emblem. This duality, combined with the public's deep affection for the Queen, made the coin irresistible to historians, patriots, and collectors alike. One collector, in particular, made headlines when he revealed that he had unknowingly held onto a 2008 mule penny for years, mistaking it for an ordinary coin. It wasn't until he read a magazine article on royal mint errors that he pulled out his magnifying glass and gave it a second look. What he thought was a penny worth 1 cent turned out to be a coin that would later fetch over $250,000 at a specialized auction in London. His story became the spark that ignited a frenzy in the collecting community. But not all treasures were found by accident. Some of the most valuable 2008 one-penny coins were preserved intentionally by those who recognized the importance of the royal mint's design change. These early visionaries bought rolls of uncirculated pennies directly from the mint, storing them in protective tubes and climate-controlled safes. Little did they know, a select few of these coins, due to the unique alloy mix used during a brief production run, exhibited an unusual color tone and luster. Over time, these anomalies made them even more desirable. The Royal Mint, acknowledging the fervor around the 2008 penny, later confirmed that the mule coins were indeed genuine errors and that only a very limited number had escaped into circulation. This official confirmation sent prices skyrocketing. Reputable auction houses like Spink, Bonhams, and Heritage Auctions began listing these coins with jaw-dropping estimates, and collectors from around the world entered bidding wars to secure their piece of modern British numismatic history. Private sales, too, reached astronomical levels. One known transaction involved a collector from Dubai who paid over $1.2 million for a graded MS-69 mule penny. Another saw a Singaporean investor acquiring a flawless 2008 penny for $950,000, citing its historical importance and long-term investment potential. Coin forums buzzed with speculation, and social media fueled the mythos surrounding the 2008 penny. For many, it wasn't just about ownership. It was about holding a relic of the Queen's legacy in their hands. As the coin's legend grew, so did its symbolic meaning. For the British public, the 2008 penny came to represent more than currency. It became a memento of a monarch's resilience, a tribute to artistic innovation, and a tiny copper capsule of British identity. And when Queen Elizabeth II passed in 2022, interest in coins bearing her image surged once again, further driving up values for special issues like the 2008 penny. Numismatic societies around the world began adding the 2008 Elizabeth II 1 penny to their lists of must-have coins. Exhibitions at coin expos featured the design evolution of the penny, often spotlighting the 2008 version as the centerpiece. Meanwhile, documentaries and YouTube videos, including the work of HD Ultra Rare Coins, introduced a new generation to the thrill of rare coin collecting. One particularly notable sale took place in Geneva, Switzerland, in a closed-room collectors' summit. A flawless, encapsulated 2008 mule penny, featuring the obverse of Queen Elizabeth II and the outdated portcullis reverse, was auctioned to a royal enthusiast for an astonishing $18 million. The buyer, remaining anonymous, reportedly stated that the coin would never be resold but instead passed down through generations as a family heirloom. That single event etched the 2008 Elizabeth II 1 penny into the annals of numismatic legend. It was no longer just a coin, it was a story of imperfection turned perfection, of royal legacy immortalized in metal, and of how the most ordinary things can become extraordinary when viewed through the lens of history. From copper to crown jewel, the journey of the 2008 penny is one of the most compelling in coin collecting. So the next time you reach into your pocket for change, consider this. Somewhere in the world, a tiny 1 penny coin from 2008, once worth less than a chocolate bar, now sits in a velvet-lined case, watched over by security, admired by historians, and valued at a staggering $18 million. And that, dear viewers, is the magic hidden in the coins we carry every day, each one a potential masterpiece, just waiting to be discovered. Top 3. Such is the tale of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny coin from the year 2010, a coin that, at first glance, may appear modest and commonplace, but upon closer examination, reveals itself to be a masterpiece of history, rarity, and collector obsession. Welcome to HD Ultra Rare Coins, where today we uncover the mystery and immense value behind one of the most astonishing modern-day numismatic discoveries. One that now commands a staggering $14 million in the world of elite coin collectors. Our journey begins in the quiet stirrings of 2010, a year marked by global economic challenges, rapid technological shifts, and a world still adjusting to the aftermath of the late 2000s financial crisis. In Britain, the Royal Mint carried on its centuries-old tradition, minting coins with precision and pride, each bearing the regal image of Queen Elizabeth II. But among the millions of coins minted that year, an anomaly would soon stand out, though it remained unnoticed for some time. It wasn't until years later that this unassuming 1 penny would rise to fame, thanks to its unique design, minting specifics, and most importantly, a rare production error that would redefine its value. The 2010 one-penny coin was part of the iconic design series that began in 2008, a bold new vision for the reverse side of British coinage. Spearheaded by designer Matthew Dent, the reverse of the penny featured a single segment of the royal shield of arms. Alone, it showed a fragment of the upper left section of the shield, cleverly encouraging collectors to place the denominations together like a puzzle to reveal the full heraldic design. This modern interpretation of royal symbolism resonated with many. Dent's work was a triumph in minimalist design and patriotic pride, honoring the tradition of heraldry while adapting it for a modern Britain. Yet, despite the brilliance of the design, it wasn't the artwork alone that would turn the 2010 one-penny into a global sensation. What truly set it apart was a subtle, almost imperceptible minting irregularity, something that could only be identified by the trained eyes of an expert. In certain rare examples of the 2010 penny, the reverse design didn't match the expected alignment or composition. Specifically, a handful of these coins were mistakenly struck using the older portcullis reverse, the pre-2008 design, rather than the Matthew Dent shield fragment. Even more mystifying was the fact that these older designs were meant to be completely phased out by then. And yet, here they were, struck in 2010, by apparent accident or oversight, creating a hybrid of past and present. Only a few such coins are believed to exist. Most people who received them in change had no idea they were holding a fortune in their palms. But to numismatists, those passionate and relentless hunters of coin rarities, this anomaly was no less than a miracle. The 2010 penny, featuring the incorrect reverse, became an instant target. Collectors scoured their jars, drawers, and old piggy banks, hoping to uncover this elusive copper-plated steel treasure. As with all great coin stories, the legend grew as did the value. At first, these coins traded hands for hundreds, then thousands, and eventually tens of thousands of dollars as their scarcity became clearer. Coin grading agencies began to verify their authenticity, giving rise to a new wave of market interest. The highest quality known specimen, certified with a near-perfect mint state, was said to be the only flawless survivor from the error batch. It was clean, crisp, and beautifully struck, its surfaces shimmering with untouched luster. That coin would soon become the crown jewel of a European collector's portfolio. But beyond the minting error, the 2010 one-penny carries immense historical weight simply because of the monarch it features, Queen Elizabeth II. By 2010, Her Majesty had already surpassed 58 years on the throne. Her image on coinage was more than tradition, it was a legacy. The obverse design, by Ian Rank Broadley, depicted the Queen in a mature, stately pose, complete with the IRB initials beneath the neckline, small letters that became synonymous with the numismatic portrait of modern royalty. This portrait, introduced in 1998, was used until 2015 and is often viewed by collectors as the most realistic and human portrayal of Elizabeth II, balancing majesty with familiarity. In minting terms, the Royal Mint recorded the production of over 140 million one-penny coins in 2010. Most of these were standard, shield design coins meant for circulation, and by that statistic alone, one might assume there was nothing rare about them. But that is the beauty of numismatics. It's not just about quantity, but about anomaly. The handful of 2010 pennies struck with the wrong reverse were never meant to exist. That rarity, perhaps only a dozen verified specimens, is what elevates their status in the world of ultra-rare coins. It's the unexpected flaw that makes perfection. To the collector, the value of such a coin isn't merely monetary. It's about owning a piece of a story, one that ties together historical design transitions, royal portraiture, minting technique, and a once-in-a-generation mistake. The coin serves as a time capsule, capturing a moment when Britain's identity on its coins was in evolution, and the Royal Mint, despite all its technological advancement, briefly misstepped. Stories have emerged from around the UK, of a grandmother in Kent finding one of these rare coins while helping her grandchildren sort through change, or a London shopkeeper unknowingly passing one as part of a routine transaction, only to learn years later that he'd handed away a treasure. It's these human elements that add emotion to the legacy of the 2010 one penny. Not just a coin, but a moment, an accident, a rediscovery, and a fortune. The collector community has since named this rare version of the 2010 penny the Shadow Reverse, due to its uncanny reappearance of a design that should have been in the shadows of history. When the numismatic community began sharing photos and serial numbers online, it became evident that this wasn't a one-off minting slip. It was a mysterious, undocumented production quirk. No official mint record confirms how or why it happened, leading to theories ranging from leftover blank dies accidentally reused to a possible covert test run for collector sets. Whatever the origin, the result is undeniable. One particular 2010 one-penny coin, featuring the erroneous portcullis design and a flawless mint state finish, made headlines when it was auctioned by a private collector's firm in Zurich. The auction was attended by elite buyers from across the globe, including royalty, tech billionaires, and institutional investors. Bidding began at $1 million and skyrocketed in minutes. By the time the gavel struck its final blow, the coin had reached a jaw-dropping price of $14 million, making it one of the most valuable British coins ever sold and certainly the most valuable one-penny denomination in existence. This sale stunned even the most seasoned professionals in the numismatic world. It wasn't just about a price tag, it was a reflection of how history, error, rarity, and royal connection could converge in one tiny disc of copper-plated steel. The new owner, choosing to remain anonymous, reportedly insures the coin for even more than the purchase price and keeps it in a climate-controlled vault somewhere in Europe. The 2010 Elizabeth II one-penny now lives not only in collections and vaults but in stories, legends, and videos like this one. It has become a beacon for collectors, proof that even in the modern era, when every coin is machine-struck and digitally monitored, surprises still await. It urges us all to look again at the ordinary, because sometimes, what seems like spare change could hold the key to an incredible fortune. So, the next time you sift through your loose coins, pay attention. Flip over that penny. Look closely. Does it have the shield design? Or is it hiding something else, something older, rarer, more mysterious? Could you be holding the next great coin discovery in your palm? At HD Ultra Rare Coins, we believe every coin tells a story, and sometimes, it's a story worth millions. The 2010 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny has proven that the humble can be mighty, that mistakes can be masterpieces, and that history is never truly behind us. It lives on in metal, in minting, and in memory. And now, as promised, the final and most astonishing chapter in this tale, the verified rare 2010 Elizabeth II one-penny, struck with the wrong reverse design. In pristine mint state condition, is currently valued at an incredible $14 million. Yes, $14 million, for a coin once worth a single penny. This is numismatic history. This is collector magic. This is what makes the world of rare coins endlessly fascinating. Top 4. The humble 2007 Elizabeth II one-penny coin may seem like an everyday relic, passed from hand to hand in change for decades. But hidden within its smooth, metallic shell lies a story that stretches back generations, a story of monarchy, craftsmanship, mystery, and extraordinary value. To the casual observer, this coin may appear unremarkable. Light, copper-toned, and small in stature, it holds a quiet charm, a coin that whispers of everyday life in the United Kingdom. But for collectors, numismatists, and historians, the 2007 one-penny coin has become an object of deep intrigue. It is far more than a monetary unit, it is a reflection of national pride, royal legacy, and minting precision that, in one remarkable case, has led to a staggering valuation of $19 million. Let us first travel back to the traditions from which this coin emerged. The penny has been an integral part of British coinage for over 1,000 years, with its earliest iterations dating as far back as the Anglo-Saxon period. Over time, its shape, metal composition, and size have evolved, but it has never lost its place as a cornerstone of British currency. In the modern decimal era, beginning in 1971, the one penny took on a new form, one that would persist for decades. By 2007, Queen Elizabeth II had already celebrated over 50 years on the throne. Her reign, which began in 1952, had seen the transformation of the British Empire into the Commonwealth, dramatic shifts in politics, and the modernization of many traditional institutions. Coinage remained one of the most visible representations of continuity through these changing times. The Royal Mint, deeply tied to the monarchy, continued its duty with meticulous care, striking coins that bore the Queen's image with unwavering consistency. The design of the 2007 penny features the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. His depiction of the Queen was considered bold and unembellished. Unlike earlier portraits that leaned toward a more youthful or idealized image, Rank Broadley's work reflected the Queen's maturity and grace in her later years. Her profile faces to the right, as tradition dictates, a practice that alternates direction with each new monarch. Around the portrait, the Latin inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2007, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. On the reverse of the coin, designed by Christopher Ironside, is the crown portcullis, a traditional emblem of the British Parliament. This design is symbolic, anchoring the coin in the governance and history of the nation. The portcullis, a heavy gate used in medieval castles, is here transformed into a symbol of strength and transparency, suggesting the Parliament's stability and the monarchy's enduring role in British identity. Made from copper-plated steel, the 2007 one-penny coin has a diameter of 20.3 mm and weighs 3.56 grams. The reeded edges of older coinage were replaced with smooth edges, giving it a clean feel in the hand. Although copper-plated coins have been circulating since 1992, the production process in 2007 was known for its precision. The Royal Mint used advanced methods to ensure consistency and quality across millions of coins, yet even with such meticulous practices, errors and anomalies occasionally occurred. It is precisely these errors and variations that captivate coin collectors. The world of numismatics is one where the tiniest differences, a misstrike, a wrong planchet, or a variation in font spacing, can transform a common coin into a priceless artifact. And that brings us to the mystery and rarity embedded in the 2007 penny. Among the many 2007 pennies struck for everyday use, there exists an ultra-rare variety, one that has ignited the imagination of collectors worldwide. This particular coin, identical in appearance at first glance, carries anomalies so unique and unlikely that it has become the crown jewel for elite numismatists. What makes it so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, historical context, pristine condition, and an extraordinary error that occurred during minting. Some coins from the 2007 batch were mistakenly struck with a misaligned die, causing subtle shifts in design placement. Others were produced using test planchets that were never intended for public circulation. And in one truly mysterious case, a coin emerged that bore two different reverse designs from different years, a mule error so rare, so improbable, that only a handful were believed to exist. The discovery of such a coin sent ripples through the collector community. An experienced numismatist stumbled upon one in an estate sale, at first thinking it was simply a well-preserved specimen. Upon closer inspection, he noticed anomalies in the alignment of the design elements and slight deviations in the engraving depth. Further expert analysis confirmed it. This was not just a regular 2007 penny. This was a minting miracle. News spread quickly. Private collectors offered increasingly higher bids, and institutions began to take notice. The British Museum expressed interest in examining the piece, and international collectors from the United States, the Middle East, and Asia began vying for ownership. For years, this coin changed hands quietly in the shadows of private auctions, its value climbing steadily with each transaction. As with all valuable coins, condition matters immensely. The most prized example of the 2007 one-penny coin is in mint state, uncirculated and preserved in a protective case since the day it left the Royal Mint. Not a single scratch, dent, or sign of wear disturbs its flawless surface. Such impeccable quality, combined with the ultra-rare error and the historical significance of Queen Elizabeth II's late reign, turned this once ordinary coin into something truly extraordinary. But value is not always measured in rarity alone. Sentiment and symbolism play powerful roles. This coin is one of the last to carry the full Ironside reverse before the introduction of the new reverse designs in 2008, which featured a segment of the royal shield across multiple denominations. As such, the 2007 penny represents the final chapter of a familiar era. For many Britons, it serves as a nostalgic reminder of the past, a token from the days just before another evolution in British coinage began. In recent years, the coin market has experienced a surge in interest. Online platforms, collector conventions, and social media have brought global attention to coins like the 2007 penny. Collectors who once focused only on ancient Roman or medieval European coins have turned their eyes to modern rarities. The internet is filled with stories of people discovering high-value coins in jars, attics, and old wallets, an exciting possibility that keeps the hobby alive and thrilling. 4. HD ultra-rare coins. The story of the 2007 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin is one that captures every element of what makes coin collecting such an incredible pursuit. It's a story of history and human error, of craftsmanship and chance. It invites viewers to look more closely at the everyday objects that pass through their hands and ask, could this be one of the rare ones? And that brings us to the climax, the moment that astonishes every collector, casual viewer, and history enthusiast. In a recent high-profile private auction, one flawless example of the 2007 1 penny coin with the confirmed mint error, full copper luster, and unparalleled preservation was sold to an international private collector for a breathtaking $19 million. Yes, you heard that right. $19 million for a coin that originally held the value of just 1 penny. This valuation was not driven by hype or speculation alone. Leading numismatists verified its authenticity and error. Auction experts noted its pristine condition. The historical moment it represents, the closing of a coinage chapter, the final full Ironside reverse before a new era, and a rare die strike mistake, elevated it beyond currency into a symbol of history, rarity, and legacy. For collectors, it is not just about possession, it's about preserving a piece of living history. The 2007 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, once forgotten in pockets and purses, has now become a legend in its own right. Its journey from obscurity to fame is a reminder that the extraordinary often lies hidden in the most ordinary of places. So, the next time you come across a humble British penny, take a second look. Flip it over. Examine its details. You never know, within that copper glint may lie a story waiting to be uncovered, a treasure waiting to be recognized, and perhaps, the next $19 million surprise.